Haute Couture, a podcast by Chanel.
Internationally renowned director and Chanel ambassador Sofia Coppola is also one of the most knowledgeable connoisseurs of Chanel Haute Couture. She has seen it come to life in the atelier of the Rue Cambon. She has filmed it and featured it in her movies. Today, she tells its story in a book titled Chanel Haute Couture, edited by her publishing house, Important Flowers, which will be released in September.
Hi, Sofia.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So we're going to do that podcast together today.
Okay, great.
Okay?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
It is nearly noon. I meet Sofia at 31 Rue Cambon, the mythical address of Chanel, where the haute couture has been experienced and created for over a century. A place she knows very well.
So you know this place really well.
Yeah, but I'm always excited to see the staircase.
Really? Why?
I mean, it's just, it's so legendary, and, you know, the pictures of Gabrielle Chanel there. And so I've come here since I was 15.
Yes.
And so I have a lot of memories. And I remember going up the stairs and seeing the apartment of Gabrielle Chanel. And I'm always excited. I'm never jaded about it. And there's so many photographs that I love of over the years of Tina Chow on the stairs, and Inez, and Gabrielle Chanel, of course. So that's a part of that story.
I followed Sofia. We settled near the haute couture salons in the podcast studio set up for the day.
It's not too loud with everyone walking around.
Yes, it's loud.
Sorry, it's the director and me. I don't want to yell silence.
You should.
Hey, we're rolling. If we could be quiet on the set, please.
Okay?
Okay.
So, dear Sofia, to start with, I would like us to go back to the mid-80s, to that scene could be maybe the beginning of one of your movies, like a teenage girl in braces, 15 years old, and who comes here, Rue Cambon, for an internship. Could it be the beginning of one of your movies?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. But I was, it was a very memorable moment for me. And I'm so thankful to Carole Bouquet, who was a friend of my family, friend of my parents, and I've known since I was a little kid. And she pushed them to take me. I was 15, and it was just, a totally incredible experience for me.
Yeah, and it was a really special summer in the history of your family. You just had a loss, a tragedy.
Yeah.
And in the book you've just edited about Chanel Haute Couture, in the beginning, you wrote a piece.
Yeah.
And you're saying something really beautiful. You said, that summer, the hole in my heart was filled with the magic of the beauty of the Haute Couture studio.
Yeah, it's really true. I had just been through a really, the most difficult time of my family, and Carole asked them to take me because, my parents needed to put me somewhere, and we were in crisis. And Gilles Dufour was working with Carl. It was Carl's studio, and they brought me in and really made me feel like family. And it was just so magical to be in the studio at that time. It was filled with, so many creative people, and Carl was sketching, and there was music playing, and Victoire de Castellane was in these great outfits and doing jewelry, and I remember Inez and Veronica Webb and all these cool models, and the way they would come in dressed in like ripped jeans and a Chanel jacket. Like, I'd never seen anything like it before. I lived in the countryside in Northern California, and there was no internet that you could get a magazine months later. And it was really the farthest thing from my country high school to be in Paris in the 80s at Chanel was incredible.
Yeah, you said you were one of the only girl in the neighborhood to have French Vogue.
Yes. Yeah, it was a big deal. So I drive to San Francisco with my mom, and she'd let me buy a copy of French Vogue, and it cost like $30, but it was like big, glossy, and just the photos really transported me and made me dream. And so to be here in the middle of this world that I imagined, and and seeing Carole Bouquet as a young girl, she was so beautiful and elegant. She always had all this Chanel outfits, and that really made a huge influence on me, but really made a huge influence on because at 16, you're thinking about like what kind of woman you want to be, and like being with all these women in Paris made a big impact on me. And also seeing Carl's creativity and that he was doing so many different things. He was taking photos and making films and design and sketching and interiors. Like, it really opened my mind to that if you're a creative person, you don't have to be limited to one medium. You can express yourself so many ways. So,
what was your internship about?
I was mostly in the studio with Carl, and I think we were I was bringing the clothes up to the atelier and back up the stairs and making Xeroxes or coffee and, just being around and being an assistant. But I remember like tripping over a phone when Carl was on the phone, and I tripped and disconnected the call and was mortified. He was so nice. He was so friendly, and it was a really fun atmosphere because it just was so creative and fun. There was so much energy.
Yeah, and did you have the chance to really see the creative process?
Yeah, it was incredible for me because I saw the couture collection come to life from Carl's sketches to the final product, and then I was there backstage helping dress the models and scratching the shoes so they didn't slip, which I'm glad I know how to do now in life by some trick. But it was really incredible for me to see the whole process from a blank page to a final creation, and then have the photos from the press book after that I would put on my wall and in Napa Valley, and connected me to Paris. I loved fashion ever since I was a very small child, which in the 70s and 80s was more unusual than nowadays. It wasn't in the culture everywhere. So my parents knew that I loved fashion, and so they encouraged that interest in me. I always noticed what my parents' friends were wearing and their accessories. I remember their jewelry and their clothes since I was very small, because my parents were living in San Francisco and always had interesting people coming to their house. And I had a glamorous grandmother. My father's mother was very glamorous. So I think I might have gotten a gene from her. But anyway, it was just an interest of mine. And so my parents encouraged it, and I had this great opportunity to come do an stage. And then that's when I really got to see what haute couture was. And I think the 80s was an exciting time for couture because it was so much about more, maximum style.
Yeah, you said more, and you said it was an awkward word, but that you felt instantly part of it, like...
I think a lot of people that gravitate towards working in the fashion business, you find people that speak the same language as you. And I think my experience is that a lot of people that feel like they don't fit in high school, when you're around fashion people, then you're instantly family. You're the same kind of the weird kids at school. They find each other, and there's an instant connection with creative people.
So you made that internship that summer, but I think the summer after you came back.
I came back. They invited me back the next year because it went well, and I was just so happy because I really do feel like I felt very part of the family, and I still see friends that were interns from that time when I come to Paris. So it really was a lifelong connection for me.
Would you say that those months, those summers were really important in your education? I mean, as a creative person, in the shape of your vision?
Definitely. It made a huge impact on me, and I'm sure my life would be different if I hadn't had that experience. It opened my eyes to a certain kind of creativity, and it was just very inspiring. And really, there was so much magic of, being at Rue Cambon in the 80s with watching Karl Lagerfeld work. It was incredible. And he was so kind. I remember at the end, he gave all the interns bouquets of roses, and it really made everyone feel special.
Haute Couture, a podcast by Chanel.
Let's talk about the book. It's called CHANEL Haute Couture, and you just edited it and published it through your publishing house, Important Flowers and Mac. Why work on that book?
Yeah, I really enjoyed, I made a book of my film work and I really enjoyed the process so much. So with that design team, I thought about doing a book on the history of haute couture because there's so many incredible images and I'm a big photography fan. And just seeing so much here, and collecting the photos and collections that I loved. I worked with my same team, and it's been really fun to. This is our second book of our imprint, Important Flowers, and just the whole process is really, for me, it's like an escape from my regular life to look at these images.
Could you tell me a bit more about the genesis of the book? Like, I think you spent a lot of time in the archives, for example.
I got to visit the patrimoine, and I thought it would be really interesting to look at the couture not in an academic way. Usually in a museum, you see them on mannequins, but I thought, I'd love to put together images of how they're worn in life and who are the women that wear them. And I remember seeing the couture clients and thinking, who are these women that are, can be ordering these dresses and where do they wear them? And so it has a whole story to me. And so I wanted to explore that and also look at the codes of Chanel, which I love throughout the years, that you can identify with a bow or camellia or certain colors and the tweed. And so looking at it's fun to find over the years the I guess, conversation between the designers.
Yeah. Chanel Haute Couture celebrates 110 years this year. It's the oldest haute couture house in operation.
Yeah, I think it's incredible that this tradition is still exists and that there's a new generation of craftsmen. When I went to 19M, I was really surprised with so many young people are learning these skills. And it would have been a dying art if Chanel hadn't cultivated it and really supported that craftsmanship.
And looking through those 110 years, what was the most surprising or the most
I think that the creations by Gabrielle Chanel 100 years ago are so modern today. They still look great today. So I think it really is, shows you when something's really classic and well done. It's timeless.
Yeah. Is there a peculiar image that you remember or you want to talk about?
Oh, there's so many.
Yes,
and I love the feeling of them all
Yes.
together. But I love the pictures of Tina Chow by Pam Hansen, a really classic look that Gabrielle Chanel was an inspiration for, that Carl did. But there's so many. There's one of Inez in like a peach chiffon dress lying with TV monitors from the 80s. And there's Inez with a hat and a dog next to Shalom with the pink hat years later. They're just the conversation between the different eras was really fun to put together.
Yeah, the book is like a huge collage. Like you wanted those times, period, eras to talk together. Yes.
Yeah, definitely. It was fun to see how things popped up and put together. And then, of course, I was happy to have like the actresses that I love, like Kirsten Dunst and Elle Fanning, pictures of them and models, Kate Moss at the Ritz, and just moments that I remember and I think make you dream.
Yeah. So after so many hours editing, seeing pictures, you became really an expert on Chanel Haute Couture. If you had to put some words on it, what is it about? What is its essence?
I'm not an expert. They do have experts here, but I think I'm just I appreciate it. I'm a fan. It's really, a beautiful art form that I admire, and I'm always excited to be around it and see it, and to go into the atelier and see what they're creating. And it feels like there's so much, expertise, but also so much love that goes into it when someone talks about the dress they're working on and how many hours go into it. There's a lot of the care that goes into it.
Yes. Did you always relate to Chanel's style, Gabrielle Chanel's style and vision?
I think she was so modern in the way she dressed in men's clothing style that at that time, which still looks great. Like I still want to dress like her. Mm-hmm. To me, it's the ultimate and chic French style and classic.
I would just like us to talk a little bit about the importance of costumes as a director in your movies.
Yeah.
To you, have fashion and cinema always been mixed? Always?
I mean, that's a part of film that I love. The creating the character and the style, and so there's definitely iconic film moments with the costumes that stay in my mind. And it's and also when I'm making a film, it's really a way to convey who the character is.
Yeah. Chanel also shares a long story with cinema, and you've worked with the house several times. I think the first time you were working with costumes, you were 16. It was with your father.
Wow, you did your research. Yeah, I forgot about that.
It was a short film of your father,
Yes.
New York Stories, and your aunt Talia wore
Yes.
a Chanel Haute Couture white dress.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I worked on the costumes for that film right after my stage, and so Gilles Dufour was so kind and helped me, and I got to borrow, a beautiful ivory silk dress that I put my aunt in, and then also for the young girls, they were wearing Chanel jackets with T-shirts and jeans from how I saw Veronica Webb dressing at the studio. And now it seems like you've seen that a million times, but at the time it was radical when I saw her like that. So they were very kind to let me borrow costumes for the film.
And for Priscilla also, of course.
Yes, the wedding dress.
What did that dress symbolize to you?
Yeah, I mean, that part of the story, her wedding dress was this fairy tale moment. We had to have a beautiful dress. And so I asked Chanel if they would help us. We were a low budget movie, and to have I know that they have the tradition of this beautiful lace and making incredible wedding dresses. So I was really happy that they agreed. And it was very exciting when the box arrived with two people from Chanel. It was a big moment. And Kaylee, the actress, when she put it on, was really transformed.
Yeah, and in the movie, it's a really important moment in Priscilla's life.
Yeah, so it had to be a big moment. So it was. I was happy that we had a Chanel dress made for her.
Is that strong link between Chanel and cinema really meaningful to you? Are you happy? Are you proud to keep on writing the story?
Yeah, I think it's so. I think it's so great that Chanel continues that tradition that Gabrielle Chanel had with artists and filmmakers, and filmmakers can always use the support and help, and to continue that. And I have moments that I always reference. I always loved Romy Schneider in the Visconti short film that Gabrielle Chanel did. Yes, it's one of my favorite costume moments. So it's inspiring.
Yeah, you really love that dress, and I think you wore a dress which was inspired by that dress at Venice.
I had a dress made for Venice, kind of like a gold T-shirt dress that was inspired by Romy Schneider's. I love that dress. I wish I could. I didn't want to take it off. I wish I could wear it every day. It's just like a gold T-shirt dress, but so beautifully made, and it was inspired by the outfit that Romy Schneider wears in that short film. It's just so incredibly made, and the fabrics and the whole ritual of having your fitting, especially at the Chanel Couture Salon.
Why is it special?
It's just if you love clothes, it's the ultimate. And to have people that really know and the most incredible fabrics, and they really know the detail perfectly, and just all the little secrets to make it fall perfectly, and just the attention to detail.
Why is it so appealing in a world where everything goes really fast? It's
the opposite. I was thinking it's the opposite of fast fashion. I think it's really being, really present. And I love clothes. So for someone that loves clothes, it's and it has that appreciation for how they're made. It's really breathtaking.
There is also the idea of a creation without limits in haute couture. It's like a laboratory. It's like
there's so much creativity, and I think there's so much interest in what they can create. It has an innovation side. And then super classic tradition.
And do you approach differently something that has been made only for you?
I feel so lucky and appreciative that there's been hours and hours of care put into something that I get to wear. And when you put it on, you feel that.
Haute Couture, a podcast by Chanel.
Haute couture is also about transmission, a transmission of savoir-faire, of femininity,
Yes.
in a way we could say that you grew up with Chanel, like you know Chanel for a really, very long time. Is transmission an idea important for you?
I mean, it's touching to me that I came here as an awkward 15-year-old and looked at these women, and now I'm a grown woman and wearing the couture. So for me, it's a full circle that it means a lot to me.
Have you the feeling that the house has changed? Like you saw it 30 years ago, you saw it now?
Yeah, things have definitely changed, but then there are things that feel the same that haven't changed. And I think there's a family atmosphere and a lot of love and respect that goes into what they make.
And talking about transmission, is it a place that your daughters discovered already or not?
They do in my closet. They like to go in my closet and try on my clothes.
And do they know the 31 Rue Cambon also? Or?
I think everyone knows. It's such a famous address, of course. No, they feel it too. Yeah, and my younger daughter's in Paris now, and it's a thrill to come to Rue Cambon to see the stairs.
So you pass on clothes on your daughters?
Well, they have to wait till they're a little bit older, but I let them try things on.
You've worked a lot with really young actresses. What do you try to transmit to give them?
I mean, when we're working together, I just try to make, a comfortable atmosphere where they can trust me and feel like they can do their work. And I mean, Kirsten and we have a friendship. She's like a sister to me. So when you connect with someone, you want to, share your experience. When you work on films so closely, you become like family also. So there's the people of the years that you connect with, and I value that.
As we said, haute couture is about time. What did time teach you?
What did time teach me? That's a big question. I don't know how to answer that, but definitely I think, my experiences stay with me and, just add more context and depth to future experiences.
The most luxury is the most secret. Do you agree with that?
I don't ever heard that, but it's a good idea. I mean, I think I have a big appreciation for mystique and mystery, which is so rare nowadays, and I feel like Chanel has that for me.
What belongs only to you?
What belongs only to me? That's a good question. I can't think of anything that only my mind, I guess.
Yeah, it's true. And to finish with, what is freedom for you? What is to be free for you, Sofia Coppola?
I mean, being independent. I try to keep my work as independent as I can to give me creative freedom. So I think that's freedom to me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.